She's probably doing better than I am. How does she manage to balance everything? Well, I wish I had 2 kids already. I wish I graduated way earlier than I did. She's always smiling, always happy. Oh my gosh, she has so many talents. Does that sound like a familiar script? Probably. In Matthew 25, Jesus is telling the disciples a parable and goes on to talk about how the master gave these 3 people different talents. One he gave 5, the other he gave 2, and the last he gave 1. And there's something that the Bible actually says. It says he gave each of them according to their abilities. I don't think I've ever really dipped that part of the Bible. I just know he gave 5, he gave 2, gave 1, but he gave them according to their abilities. So if he had given the person who had 2 5, it would have been an unfair allocation because that person didn't have capacity for that. If he had given the person that had 5 2, it would still be an unfair allocation because that person had capacity to do more. So the person would have had unfair advantage. But do you know what the master did? He studied and knew the people he was giving this talent to and gave them according to their abilities. Gave them according to what they could do. Now, the person that had 5, went to work with it and had another 5. The person that had 2 went to work with it, had another 2. The person that had 1 says, "Oh, master, you want to reap from where you did not sow, so I buried it." You know what's funny? There's a reason why they even gave him 1. Now, he in his mind probably thought he didn't have capacity for 1, or just, was very lackadaisical. And that's why the Lord gave him according to his ability. Where am I going? The 5 and the 2 actually had 100% yield on what they were given. You can look at somebody and admire them and say, "Oh my gosh, you do so many things at once." And they will be like, "I'm graced for it." You will try and dabble into 5 things. You're like, "Man, my head, I'm mad." What the Lord has given you, the gifts, what have you done with it? Versus comparing and being like, "Oh, I'm not going to utilize it." What have you done with what he has given you? The Bible also talks about how, and in that same parable, it says, how did the Bible put it? I think it says, to whom much has been given, more will be added for abundance, and it will become abundance to the person. But to whom, the little that has been given to somebody else who did not utilize it well, that little will be taken away. Your gifts, your speech, your words, your light. How are you utilizing it? It's very easy to look at the person who has 5 and be like, give them 5. But if they gave you 5 and your ability is 2, you will make a mess of 5. You will only be able to do 2 out of 5, which would be equal to times 100. That's 40%. But the Lord gave you according to your ability. You're not shortchanged. He didn't make a mistake. He made it fair. He made it fair. And even if it's 1, use it well so that more can be added to it. That's my admonishment to you today. My admonition. What else do they call it? Exhortation. God, what 5 have you given me? What 2? What talent have you given me? How can I multiply it for the kingdom? Help me, Lord.